It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
GearWebsite.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Try to come to you live every weeknight, but when that's not possible, we definitely go live on Friday evenings like this to wrap up the week, taking a look at the stuff that was focused on what our Second Amendment protects. And if everything's working good, hopefully everybody give me some feedback on the audio. We go live. We use the YouTube platform for that, but tonight we're over on the Rumble also, and it looks like we are in fact on Rumble. So we're still using the StreamYard, but we're streaming it over to Rumble in order to fiddle with that whole situation. Anyway, sorry for the late start. Y'all know why that happened. We don't have to say nothing else about that, do we? But appreciate everybody's patience there. Now, if you're listening to this as a podcast, like most people probably are doing, welcome. Leave us some feedback if you would. Next time you're grabbing the show or attaching some feed or something, it helps this puppy. He feels better when we have likes and shares over there. Okay, so we'll say hey to the people joining us live. We got a bunch of people joining us this evening. Looks like the first person was Pat. Welcome. Woods is joining us as well. Good evening. Ron Wayne and Misty. Misty. Welcome. And DJ joining us. Welcome. I got stuff to send Hillbilly and DJ for sure. I think I probably owe G23 something. I almost always do. And now Gizzard. Yeah, I got some shipping to do here. But welcome. And then is everybody? I think that's everybody. If that's not everybody, Vulcan's out there. Welcome. It blew up. I don't know what you mean. Daddy Dutch, welcome. All right, so also quit saying hey to people, but welcome. Feel free to say hey. That's how we know you're out there. This is an interesting week, a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's jump right in. We're going to take a look over at one of the places that we post this data that we're looking at, or this content that we create. This is something that I start usually right tomorrow. Like I'll start, tomorrow sometime. I'll sometimes start this thing up and then start up next week's. And then as I'm watching stuff or I come across stuff, I put it in here so that we can talk about it next Friday. And I put that information on quite a few platforms for a number of reasons. The main reason is to help the projects and people and stuff that we're going to be talking about, ideally, because we've got it posted a bunch of places. So that's an effort, and it takes some time. So we do appreciate our Patreons. We'll take a second to say thanks to them. There's a scroll going down at the bottom of the screen right here. There's no ads, there's no commercials here, but I do take a second to thank the people that give me the time to work on this stuff, people that subscribe to our projects over on Patreon. We also have channel members. So then there's 3 things. DJ doesn't know about the 2 other things that he forgot in Vegas. What's supposed to stay in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas. I know all about it, but I'm still sending them some stuff. So anyway, we take this information. You're going to find it in the description of the video, but it's also over here on Substack. And we're also going to find it. Oh, don't I have it in here? On the newsletter sometimes. And then on we also post things on Instagram. but it's also over on our Patreon. I guess I forgot to put the Patreon link on this one. So we have a couple of blogs that we post this information on, then we go live and talk about it so that it's easier to consume for people that aren't going to read it. And most people probably don't read it. It's really for the robots out there that are reading the internet all the time. A lot of people that do live shows, a lot of people that do shows, they don't care about what's written on the internet. So what they're talking about is interesting, and it's it's maybe worthwhile even. But the problem is sometimes that since they're not writing it down, it doesn't get archived. It doesn't get kept on the internet, at least not yet. There are transcripts and things like that. I'm not sure. I haven't had time to look into how the internet's archiving all the transcripts out there, but this is an intentional effort to put some stuff down that has a focus on the Second Amendment, normalizing guns, changing the conversation about how we deal with this stuff. And today, hopefully everybody's awake. We've got a bunch of people joining us live. And if you're listening to this as a podcast and you're used to me just kind of reading off a bunch of stuff that happened throughout the week, I'm going to start off a little bit differently this week. This is a complex versus complicated is a concept that's not new. I'm not inventing it. I'm just putting it out here for the Second Amendment debate or the Second Amendment conversation or the normalization of guns or the evolution of our conversation about our rights. All of those things are affected by some cycles and a lot of people who exploit the situation, intentionally or not. So how do we get out of these ruts? How do we get out of these cycles that are frustrating, to say the least, if you've been around for a while? We really get stuck in some loops. And the other side capitalizes on that. They exploit that because they get paid. They literally get paid. They can make political points. They can literally get paid in their pocketbook. And even if they lose, they get political credit. But when they win, they take our rights away and they consider that a victory. So how do we solve these things? And the people on our side that are either being effective or not often don't evolve or don't have a chance to evolve. Usually it's kind of a volunteer thing. People come up to resist or defend themselves, their rights, and then they go back to doing their thing. And the other side just does it again. They wait till everybody goes home and they do it again. So how do we get out of these ruts? We've talked about in other conversations quite a bit about how to look at this as either like in game theory, as a game like baseball where there's points and you can win or lose or tie, I guess, but you can count the points and you can determine who wins or loses, and there's a time frame for the game. So the competition happens and then everyone walks away and the competition's over. And the media certainly stages our rights as if there's some sort of competitions. When they are ready for it, they bring attention to a point or a place where our rights are at risk. And then the battle ensues, and win or lose, they walk away with attention. They walk away with subscriber money, with advertising money, and we sometimes come away with some experience points, but often we just walk away with bruises or maybe lacerations, depending on what they did to us. So when thinking about game theory, we've talked about this being a game of points, like a win or lose type of game, or a game where the winning is just being in the game, the long game. So the short game or the long game. And often gun rights advocates, gun owners' rights advocates, we're defending our rights, we're defending our property, and then we're done. Like I say, we either win or lose, and we walk away from that. So people look at it like a baseball game, when the other side is looking at it like the long game, and they win or lose. Every time they fight, they win. So they're getting paid just to fight. And we don't have people on our side. Well, we do have some people on our side that get paid to fight, but look what happens when someone gets paid to fight too long. People start to scrutinize and get worried about, if they're doing it the right way, or how much their suit cost, or, how compromised they may or may not be, what state they're in, who knows, we start to pick at each other, justifiably or not. But we're not in for a long game. So that, I don't know if it's 100% applicable, that long game, short game. But this little dog is snoring because he's so worried about 2A that he stress sleeps over it. He's only sleeping because he's so concerned about the Second Amendment. So this whole thing about complicated versus complex, it's not new, but I think it's interesting, and I'd like to have further conversations, see people have conversations about this one, applying it to our situation and to our awareness, to our activism, to our work to inform people, because this might potentially be a way to an angle, a vector to have a more effective or at least a different conversation. So the idea is that there's complicated things and there's complex things. And I think there's technically mathematical definitions for these. Now, in some dictionaries, they'll suggest they're synonyms. They're the same two words for the same thing. And in some ways they can be, but when we're not just splitting hairs here, but there's two thought processes here. There's two theories. There's two things to think about here. So complicated problems are problems that have a solution, that with enough time or with enough thought or with enough technology, with enough effort, they can be solved. So think of things like building a nuclear reactor or building a battleship, super complicated. Think of things like brain surgery or whatever those big magnet things are, machines. There's things that are super complicated, but with enough time and enough money and enough technology and enough effort, they get accomplished, right? So we have complicated problems, and we tend to look at things big and complicated as complicated problems. And for whatever reason, we think there's some solution. Maybe it's just out of reach. Maybe we haven't put enough time, logic, tech, or whatever to it. But the difference is there's complex problems. And those are problems that are typically really easy to understand, but impossible to solve, right? And I think a good example of that one that I've heard is like a ball game. So, one team has to play better and then they win. Okay, pretty easy to figure out, right? One team just has to have more points and they win. But try to create a mathematical process that always makes that happen. Try to come up with some kind of put enough money into the people who are good. You can't make that happen. So there's things that can be managed. That's what complex problems are. Things that can be managed. Complicated problems can be solved. So the difference is, there's a recipe or there's a directions that can be followed to solve a complicated problem. But for a complex problem, the solution is, or the results are, I guess the solution would be to act, learn, and adapt in a cycle. So manage it. So like anything, you put some input, observe that input, recalculate, adapt, right? And then put in some input. Observe that input, recalculate, put in some input. Essentially, it's the same thing. Short game, we figure out the solution, we solve it. Done. Long game, we manage the thing. So I don't know if this is, like a light bulb or not, but I figured I'd stick it at the beginning of the show since I didn't want it to be completely overlooked here, throwing it in towards the end or something if the show goes to be an hour or whatever. But, it's not really a conversation here. I'm just talking. So if somebody wants to have an actual conversation about this one, dig into it, that'd be awesome. If somebody does something like that, let me know. Oh, I'm looking over here now, and I see people are super chatting. Thank you for that. So DJ's talking about the thing. Missy saying puppy snacks. Well, luckily, I happen to have this puppy snack bag right here. He's got this new snack bag. I think these are like $15 on Amazon. Maybe they're $23 on Amazon. I still have his regular snack bag inside of there, but now he's got this cool magnetic nylon snack bag holder. So that's two. There's one. That's one from doing the if I'm doing the mathematical conversion correctly. There's a second one. Thank you very much. He thanks you for that. Defense Dad is joining us. Welcome. Let's see. What did you see? You can thumb someone's super chat. What is that all about? What do you mean you can thumb somebody's super chat? Are the people from Rumble seeing all this? Let me quick look over at Rumble here. Oh, this page is slowing down Firefox. What's up with that? Oh, yeah, it is. All right, wait, is it? Is that on a wicked delay? Oh, no, it's fine. So, sorry, I'm playing with the new Rumble over here and just noticing that it's not, it was just lagging. All right. And then Pat and Bunker throwing $5 in. Welcome. Thank you. I think we'll go ahead and give the dude, I'm not going to give him 5, otherwise he'll get the poops. We'll give him 1 for that one. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's cool. So I guess y'all, you're saying that you can thumb up super chats now? I don't see nothing on this side, but I'm not watching on YouTube anywhere. Oh, I do have a poll going, I think, though. I set that up way earlier. And then Ron Wayne also sending in $2 in super treats. Let me make sure he still wants them. Puppy, do you want this one? I think he might want this one. Yep, he did want that one. Turns out he did want that one. Ugh. Get puppy slobber all over everywhere. Let's see. What's it saying? Complicated problems can often be made a product. Can be made a product, a highway, a reactor, etc. Yeah, I think that's. I don't know if that's the only, because I think you can have. Oh, I don't know. There's probably logic or something for some complicated problems, like I don't know, chess. But you know what I mean. Like there's probably chess. I don't know if chess is a good example, but you know, some kind of tic-tac-toe or something. You know, there's probably some kind of math you can do to come up with all the solutions. At least, even if it's a huge number, there is a solution. I think that's a difference, but I'm not. Like I say, I think it kind of. I'm taking thought of something that's both math and conversational and more putting them together or blending them or whatever. Let's see. On our end, it's letting us thumb up the super chats. Yeah, that's very cool. I wonder if then YouTube pays attention to that. Like, does it count it or anything? So we can count like how many let me just go look and see. But then if it does, then it'd be kind of interesting to be able to, you know, say like who gets the most thumbs on their super chat or something. I'm assuming it's just 1 thumb per account. Okay, puppy's done. Thank you, everybody, for his biscuits. He's now going back to sleepy. Just 1 thumb per. Look how slow my internet is. So now you're all witnessing in real time how slow my internet is. We got almost a dead heat for a 3-way tie, I guess. Oh, it does let you start counting how many. Look at that. And you can heart it also. You can both heart it. Oh, okay. Well, then I guess we're doing some sort of a... All right, here's what's happening. Here's what's happening right now. So this is going to happen. Pat and Bunker's got 6. Somehow the Misty only has 4. I don't know what y'all consider yourselves gentlemen or not, but Misty's got 4, Pat's got 6, and Ron's got 4. Any super chats that happen tonight and then get a number of thumbs on them, they're all fighting for something. That's what's going to happen.
So let's play with that a little bit. Gizzard obviously was too busy to talk about this. I didn't see him talking about it on his chat. I don't know if did he get super chats? Maybe he didn't get any super chats. So we'll keep the poll going for a little bit. And do we have audio back? Let's find out. It looks like we have wiggles on the thing, and this is looking like it's there. I had a lot of windows open before. Yeah, I was playing in Bacon Bit. This is the dog who's supposed to be doing all this stuff. The wires are right here by him. He could be adjusting the wires. All he has to do is reach over here and adjust the wires with one of his feet. He just doesn't. He's lazy. He could be adjusting the wires right now. Okay, so I only have one window open now. I have to get everything back. Everything needs to come back, so that's going to take me a minute here. I don't know if everybody's heard what I was saying there, but I think we've discovered a whole new way to have fun with the YouTube and make a bunch of super chats happen. So somebody who's looking to, I don't know, raise funds for their channel or whatever, and they want to give YouTube, 30% or 40%, that could be pretty fun. So I'm going to go back to what I was trying to do earlier, which is verify. I'm going to go back to what I was. You can thumb up them super chats. So anybody that's got the most super chats this evening is going to be in the running for something good. So we're playing around with that tonight, and anybody can participate. Throw a super chat in there, and if you put something in the super chat that entices people to thumb it, then that might be a good idea. So we'll put that over there. I also was looking at the poll, which is still, well, we got more votes for great week, some votes for good week, and then there's votes for bad week. I'm curious about the bad week votes. I mean, I understand it. I'm just curious about why you're voting bad week. I mean, this is going to be pretty heinous once we start digging into it here. So we're having a little fun at the beginning. Like I say, I wanted to start off with that concept of complex versus complicated versus complex. I just heard that like 3 or 4 times recently. Well, I hear it all the time, depending on what I listen to, and I just happen to have had it happen like 3 times recently. And the last time was pretty interesting. It was from a totally different source than I normally hear it from. So, look at this. DJ is quoting. Maybe if people you could do a show. I'm not saying you have to all do this tonight or whatever, right? But somebody could do a show, and they could say, if you super chat with like a song or a quote or a movie or something, and then
people thumb up your choice, which is a super chat. Then you would both, raise funds, and you'd have a way to easily, have a way to vote on audience participation. That's super neat. I wonder if there's a way is there anybody that's a member that can do one of them member dealies and see if we can vote up a member dealie? What's that, like, fake member super chat thing? Do one of them fake member super chat things. I'm poking you with a stick. But, because then members could do it, not for free because you're a member, but you know what I'm saying? Members could do it with their member thingy. All right, we're just going to sit here waiting for some member to do this. We'll just sit here. But I guess I'll get the screen sharing over here. Thanks. I can't do it. Can you all do it? That would be cool. That would have been cool. Come on, YouTube. You're so close. Pretty close. Look at that. 34 months. Thanks for that. 13 months. Thank you very much. So, dang, that would be neat. But that is neat. I'm glad YouTube came up with something interesting. It's kind of lame they got to super chat it, I guess. It's going to kind of nickel and dime people to if you were to do something like what I was thinking about there. But like, say, if you're trying to raise funds or whatever, then it would be neat. You could do like every $5 super chat is going to win something, every $1 super chat's going to win something, and every $20 super chat are in the running to win something. I don't know how to say that without getting the legal, you know what I mean? The legal way of saying whatever I just said there. All right, so in any case, let's say hey. I don't know if I'm missing anybody with all that commotion. Did I say hey to Ron? Thanks for jumping in. And I have no idea. My audio is back, right? I'm assuming. I'm looking at my little light is on. I had a lot of windows open, so I think what happened is just something got clicked. All right, so getting back into it, I'll close this out. I guess I'm going to go check on Rumble real quick. So this is what it looks like when you run the Rumble over here. You click on this, view on Rumble, and then the Rumble opens up, and then you have to go into your Rumble thing, and let's get rid of that. And then there's your Rumble. So that's what it's like over on the Rumble right now. So I've heard stories of getting all kinds of views on Rumble and all kinds of participation. So, yeah, we'll find out if that happens. This is my second Rumble. What's a live Rumble called? The Rumble. No, I have no idea what that would be called. Lumble. I'm going to close it, though, because nobody's saying anything on it, and I'm pretty sure when you do say something on it, I can see it on StreamYard. And I don't know if that's what killed my browser before, because I don't think it likes my, whatever I'm using, DuckDuckGo. All right, so we're getting into the news of the week. People that said bad week, I get it. Treasury Department, Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN. I don't even want to get into it. There's too much stuff to talk about. Maryland, Senate Bill 784, 11% excise tax on all firearms. 11% on all firearms, including manufacturers. So essentially, that's the Maryland get the hell out of here gun manufacturers bill. Like, there's no way to put 11% tax on everything you build. Colorado, HB 1292. Ban on modern sporting rifles. I think they have a couple other things happen in Colorado. I'm trying to get through a bunch of stuff this week whenever I put this together. But that's the one that came to the top. Connecticut House Bill 5114, an 11% excise tax for ammunition, because Connecticut was like, oh yeah, you want to see what Maryland did? Let's try this. Plus, it's like a weird version of Maryland and California, I guess. So we'll keep going. California, I mean, amongst others, Senate Bill 1160 requires all gun owners to register their firearms. This is this week. New Mexico House Bill 129, bill for a 7-day waiting period, is headed to the what's-her-face, lady who hates guns since the boss of them. And they got a whole bunch of other stuff coming. She didn't like how they didn't pass enough stuff, so she wants to start another emergency session. really frustrating for sure, right? Let's get to Idaho. This is the only positive one. I probably should have put it lower down, but or up above or something. But Idaho is trying to do. I didn't put what this is, but a bill called the Firearms Industry Non-Discrimination Act, the FIND Act, and essentially it's complicated, I think, but it says something like if a company says that they're anti-gun, then they can't work with the state. It's just a weird pro-gun measure, I guess. Then we got Washington getting a one-size-fits-all security measure that essentially would shut down gun shops, from what I understand. That's HB 2118. And then Oregon was like, hey, wait, hold my... What do they drink down there? Some kind of sparkling cider, probably. Hold my sparkling cider. That Attorney General is asking, I think, the state Supreme Court to let Measure 114 come back again while they wait a few years for the appeal, even though they've been told that it can't take effect for a few years until the appeal by the Supreme Court. And that's just what I was able to quickly come up with. There's, like I say, we really deserve a scoreboard so that we can keep track of all the shit, so that we can then understand that understand its place, because this is frustrating as hell to see it come in waves when, well, I get most of my info from this NSSF Government Relations Update newsletter. At least this portion of it is pretty succinct in that newsletter, but I'm still taking a 5-page newsletter and squishing it down into these bullet points. But we are at the whim of what NSSF decides to come up with, and also at the whim, I guess, or at the whatever. We're at the whatever NSSF doesn't look at. So whatever they don't look at, we don't know about. At least I don't know about. So yeah, it's tough. And is NSSF the right person to be doing this? None of the others. I'm not aware of any of the others doing a weekly update, a summary of what's been going on in each state. We definitely need to help each other. We need to show the people in the middle who just don't pay attention. There's how much volume of BS is going on, how much this is costing. Think about how many tax dollars. Every single one of these is redundant. Every single one of these is, what's the word for like a copycat of something they've already done? They have this fairly small playbook, and they just take a page out of it and they try it and it doesn't work, and then they cost a lot of money, and then they wait next session and they pull another page out and they try that, and if it works, then they put a feather in their cap, and then the next session they pull out another page and they do that, and they just keep doing this. And at some point, the people in the middle, once they're aware of this, may at least be able to say, at least we should be able to give them the option to say, enough is enough already. This is costing everybody a bunch of money. There's no need for this, and you need to be, there's got to be something we can do here. Anyway, let's see. Woods is saying that they backed off on some of these. That's the part I'm trying to get through, some of the details on these, but it sounded like the gist of it was still going to shut down quite a few shops, and it would prevent shops from going into business, which is, of course, the point of the whole thing, to make it difficult and to stop the community, stop the gun culture, essentially, by taking out pieces of it. All right, so we're going to talk about 2A stuff for a bit, and then we'll talk about some gun stuff for a bit, and then I chat about some of the what are these things called? Radio shows that I listen to. We'll take a look at the calendars, and then some of the interview shows that are interesting, and then we'll wrap up with the stuff that we did this week, I guess. All right, so I forgot to put in Brooke in here. So Brooke scheduled her shows out for till April or something. So Brooks does her suicide prevention Saturdays, of course, but I don't know why it didn't show up in my list, and I forgot to put it in here. But this first one is a great video by Gabby. And I'm going to play it because it's going to copyright me probably, but it's only like 7 minutes long. So essentially it's Gabby doing this video, and it's one of these kind.
Never liked them. Are you a parent who have never been around firearms, you don't like firearms, and can even imagine having firearms at home? But your kid does. They are definitely interested in guns and pistols, rifles, shotguns, and want you to take them to the range. Well, this video is for you. And before you wonder why listening to me, the firearms instructor, competitive shooter, and most likely is going to tell you, go and take your kid to the range, well, let me tell you a personal story. I would say my mom's story.
So anyway, it's an interesting story, and she talks about how you might not like guns, but your kids are going to be interested in guns, and you can, in her story of her mom not fighting that or trying to mess with that, and how it was a success for her. And next up, we got Kingpin doing his Valentine's Day Every Second Matters message. Very nice. Then we've got what do they call this show? They call it the well, I thought it starts off One in the Chamber. So this is the One in the Chamber talking about essentially the Republican gun control that happened 2 years ago, the bipartisan gun control bill. It's garbage, and focusing on how Biden is weaponizing it. Oh no, like we didn't know that was going to happen. But nobody else really focusing on it, and that's what their episode was about this week. Similar, John Orders of America does their hour plus show with John and Tiffany. No, Tiffany's her. John and the other co-host. And this week they had the people that bought Colt and the people that bought Seller Bellet. No. Yeah, Seller Bellet. So CZ. So you're allowed to watch this show if you don't have a hair bun or a hair knot. Sorry, but yeah, you can hear it better if you tie your hair up into a hair knot. So then we've got Professor Yamane talking to the guy who wrote this book. What was his deal? It was a book where he's studying guns and stuff, and it was pretty heinous. So the professor's pretty nice to him in here. I don't know if you want to listen to this thing or not. It's definitely a tangent. It has nothing to do with anything current. But, well, I shouldn't say that. It's a writer who is writing about guns so that he can better write about how guns are bad. But he's trying to do it from the middle. So I think it definitely is a wolf in sheep's clothing type of thing. And it's a conversation with the guy. I don't think the guy thinks he's anti-gun, but he's so anti-gun, it's just in his message. He's like, just, has the mindset that guns are bad. And he's trying to help us explain why we should be able to have our vice. Is that how I say it? So it's, I don't know. It's nothing, on track with what we're doing in any kind of fight, but it is potentially useful for a conversation. Well, I didn't listen to this one. Has anybody listened to this one? The Four Box Designer talked about the Valentine's Day Massacre, and, on them a-hole gangsters from the 20s that were created by Prohibition, national Prohibition, are the ones that they blame, that instigated the national blame of guns for everything. So The NFA is essentially a result of the 1920s gangsters who are a result of Prohibition. You have to drive a Subaru. Just listen to that podcast, probably. So Minnesota has, it's hard to know. Are they getting the same stuff that they always get? Are they getting an unusual amount of anti? Since we only have one organization up there, that's the only message we get is their message. So where's Michigan, or where is Minnesota when you look at this list? You know, it's like, do we ignore states like Minnesota? Arizona's, we're going to start, I don't want to talk shit, but Arizona ain't going to be what we are forever. So, do we have the potential to be paying a lot more attention to stuff, but anyway, that's the only thing we got. I don't see anything out there coming in from I didn't see anything coming in from Massachusetts, from Virginia. It has been silent. I don't know what's going on in Virginia, but the only thing I've seen coming from a state level organization is this one from Minnesota with all this other stuff going on. So maybe it's possible that all this other stuff is taking their time, or I just don't know. The Connecticut Citizens Defense League, I think I have seen some stuff on Instagram for them. California is hard. Do you follow FPC? Do you follow San Diego gun owners? They're just one organization. There's 7 million gun owners there. But something like New Mexico, there's the New Mexico State Rifle Association or whatever they are that I watch on Instagram, but no YouTube presence. Do we really in 2024? We don't get a YouTube presence for every fight that we got going on. I don't know. So I can't solve it. All I can do is talk about it each week. That's the 2A stuff. I wish there was more, but I only got so much time to do stuff. So we'll get into the gun stuff. Gizzard just had his show. I think this is last week's show, though. He just got done quirking me with his 251, I think. He changed his logo up. Yeah, that's right. He changed his logo up this week. So I don't know if he's doing that full time or what. But he's got a new logo going on. Thunder on the Prairie, maybe you've heard of it, is happening again next year. I guess they're allowing them to shoot in Nebraska again next year. And Defense Dad and Travis did a video about that. Our friends over at Bullets for Bucks reviewed this Palmetto State 5.7 looking gun. And since I didn't really get to look at too much stuff it shot, been looking at some of these videos to see stuff. Then we got the Overnight. Foss, our friend Foss up in Washington, hosts the Overnight every other week on weekends, on Saturday night. And we had a chat this weekend. Now, every week on Wednesday, he hosts the Mouse Party. And I just want to mention to everybody, both of these shows are in the middle of the night, but they're open for anybody. So if you want to join in, feel free. It's supposed to be a conversation. And, in the time of the night when we can, have a real conversation. It's a lot of fun when a bunch of people jump in, so feel free. Chris from the 740 has the 740 show going. And, again, I didn't get to SHOT Show, so paying attention to his channel and getting to see a bunch of the different things close up. Like I knew about this transparent magazine from Magpul, the T-Mag. So seeing Chris's video about it with good quality and seeing it up close, it's probably, I did get to fiddle with that thing, but it's going to be able, I am able to see way more than what I actually saw at the show. And half the time, if something was crowded, people that did these videos took the time to, elbow people out of the way at least, so you get good shots like this. So that's the Aero Precision lever gun that everybody's talking about. This was the one that's the collab with Stag. I think this is in the Stag Arm booth. So, if you're looking, Chris did a great job of videoing him and his kid. And some of the other guys, What Snob and Gizzard and others did some videos as well, but been looking at them. Then we go live every other once in a while with Matt and Yankee and chat over there on his channel. It's interesting to say the least. Ryan Shotgun with Charlie runs around interviewing people. This would have still been from Phoenix, I believe. So this would have been from Gun Rights Policy Conference. Yeah. This would have been from Gun Rights Policy Conference back in September last year. He's chatting with Rob from Eye on the Target Radio, Amanda Suffolk's brother. Then I threw in Masada Ayyub's going through his cargo pants, and I don't know. I wonder if the youngins are down with people that carry redundant gear or not. But you definitely see, somebody who's got the 2 is 1 mentality with his kit. All right, so I threw this one in here because this guy's pretty cool. I think I mentioned this the last time that I needed to do this, but this is. When
you get in your car, you just.
Shut up. This is a awesome feature of YouTube. This is some guy who is in his garage someplace, and I don't know if he's a business or what his deal is, but this is what I had to do. This is my throttle position sensor, and essentially this is the only video I could find. There is this other guy that did a video on this, but it's not in English and he doesn't really say anything. So this guy has one where he says stuff more, but I can show you what I'm always talking about. So my throttle position sensor's been being a jerk, and it went out when I was in Vegas. So you get bad gas mileage for sure, but it also does weird shit. It idles bad, and it throws the gears weird, and it just drives overall like crap when that throttle position center is bad. So all these videos tell you to take that alternator thing he's pointing at there and take it out. And I'm not going to take that alternator out if I don't gotta. So essentially I do the same thing as this guy. I just took off that air filter thing, and now it's a little bit different on mine because I don't look right into my carburetor. But anyway, we'll fast forward a little bit. This little black hose right there is what you got to change out. So essentially this is what I got to do is I got to reach all in there and grab this thing that looks kind of like the Millennium Falcon a little bit. And then it's got 2 screws on it, 2 torque screws. And I got to do all that, but I don't move the what do you call that thing? The alternator. I just jam one hand in here and I jam my other hand in here, and I just sort of get in there and figure it out. So it took me like 16 minutes the first time, and the second time here, do this yesterday or today, I guess, I did everything wrong. I dropped the socket down into there, so that sucks. Like, that took the longest time, dropping the socket down in there, because I didn't know where it went, and it went far down in there. And then I dropped the screw, one of the screws in there twice. So everything I could have done wrong, minus dropping the thing itself down in there. But the new one had a weird, what do you call it? It had a weird gasket. So, I potentially have it messed up. I guess I'll find out tomorrow. But, yeah, this is what I've been messing with. Well, good chunk of the day today was messing with that. So thanks to that guy, some channel that did a video on this. I think I might do a video on how I do it without moving the alternator. All right, but moving along. I don't know, every once in a while, I throw away a lot of stuff on my main feed so that YouTube doesn't know what I like. And plus, I don't like a lot of YouTube channels, so I don't even follow a bunch of people. I tell it not to follow a bunch of stuff. But it showed me this channel, and I never heard of this channel before. So I watched this video because it says, How Gun Tubers Make Money. Oh my goodness. Talk about petty envy weirdness. So I thought I'd heard a lot of stuff. I know I haven't heard it all, but I know I've heard a lot of stuff over the years. I just wanted to mock them. This is weird. I can't believe, and plus they're so wrong. Like, it's crazy how wrong this video was. And then we get into the radio shows. We got Toby over at Cape Gunworks did a show on Valentine's Day. Then he also did the radio show with Grace Curley. I don't think I was around on Saturday or on Sunday to hear San Diego County gun owners or not. I'm trying to remember. Let's go head over to the guncalendars.com. So one of the projects that we do, we're gun websites after all. One of the websites we have is guncalendars.com. And we're not selling gun calendars or anything yet, but what we are doing is putting out a bunch of stuff about the different things that have happened over the years. We're looking at the 16th. So today is the anniversary of John Garand passing away in, I'm guessing that's 1880. The calendar doesn't mean I have to understand everything I wrote in it. Looks like he passed away in 1974, and he was a Canadian. I want to thank the people in Canada for being there, being our northern defense. But not only did he invent the Garand, named it after himself, or somebody named it after him, but he also gave the patent to the United States. So very cool Canadian dude. This weekend, tomorrow, is the Ambassador Academy, which is a multi-day event to train gun people on how to be to work in the gun industry, how to be a brand ambassador. That's why they call it the Ambassador Academy. But they also include activism and awareness in the curriculum. So Tony, our friend Tony's going to that. There's probably other people going to be there too. But we're curious to hear what'll happen there. Tomorrow, the 17th, is quite a few other things happening. It's our Arizona's rally, our 2A rally. But it's also the anniversary of Maxwell Atchison, the guy who invented the AA-12. Also the Lightning Link. He has like 24 patents. It was also the anniversary of Hiram Percy Maxim, which was the son of the machine gun guy. The guy Percy is the guy who was into ham radio and into, radio at the time, I guess. And then he invented the suppressor. He died in 1936 at the age of 67. Tomorrow. And then Browning patented the 45 ACP pistol, the 1911. That was patented. I guess the patent was filed in 1910 tomorrow, and then it was, the actual patent went through almost a year later on Valentine's Day of 1911. So the 1911 was patented on Valentine's Day of 1911, but the patent was filed on February 17th, the year before, 1910. So a little fun, interesting stuff there. The Western Hunt and Conservation Expo is going on. Our friends from Bullets for Bucks are up there attending that one. The the National Wild Turkey Foundation Convention is happening right now. So those are pretty interesting. I haven't been to a conservation show since I was a little kid, so I definitely would like to check those out at some point. Let's see, we got President's Day this weekend. Oh, that's probably where a 5-day weekend comes in for some people. Then we've got next week, for people that are paying attention or interested in talking about the water cooler at the gun shop next week. We've got the Coast Guard Reserve's birthday. We've got the anniversary of the Tyhart Amendment. The Tyhart Amendment is the one that prevented the ATF from publicly releasing data of where criminals purchase their firearms. So much like the PLCCA, the PLACA, the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms, which protected the firearms industry from harassing lawsuits, the Tyhart Amendment is designed to stop the media from telling criminals where the dirty gun shops were. So now that Joe Biden's ATF is closing almost every gun shop, it's less of an issue. But back in the day, the idiot media, just like they like to exploit every situation that makes firearms look bad, they wanted to petition from like the Freedom of Information Act, the addresses of the gun shops that were selling the most guns to the criminals, and somehow that was going to help save lives. So the Tyhart Amendment is essentially a law that stopped them from being able to do that, and that was back in 2003. So it must have been some issue back then during the assault weapons ban that was such a issue that it brought them to create a national law for that. A national bill got passed. So that's the kind of bullshit crap that was happening in 2003, and that was getting national level attention in the form of bills. Just shows you how tender we were back then and what we weren't going to stand for. And, were we callous back then or were we tender back then? I don't know. But we certainly weren't going to stand for it. We made a freaking law that said they weren't going to be able to do it. And this is around the time that the Undetectable Firearms Act was going. No, it has nothing to do with that one. So, anyway, we'll move on. The Dragunov, the guy who invented the Dragunov, Yevgeny Dragunov, looks like he was born in 1920, coming up next week. Eugene Rising, another firearms inventor, passed away. That anniversary is next week. One of the things Obama did that was positive for guns was pass the CCW could carry in U.S. parks, a federal law that took effect during his presidency. That was that's coming up next week. New Hampshire's constitutional carry, anniversary of that is coming up next week. Blade Show Texas is next weekend. We have 223 Day, so don't forget that February 23rd is 223 Day. So technically you could say the 22nd is 222 Day and the 24th is 224 Day, if you want. You're allowed to do that. You got a bunch of other things happening, like the siege of the Alamo began next week. The U.S. Marines raised the flag in Iwo Jima, back in 1945, next week. Barrett is adopted as the state rifle of Tennessee in 2016. That anniversary is next week also. So that's the kind of stuff that we put over on the calendars, but we also have all kinds of interesting stuff like Second Amendment rallies. Guess what? We have our Arizona rally coming up tomorrow here in Arizona. It's our 11th rally. Our 11th rally from the motorcycle gang that turns it out. No, they're not a gang. The motorcycle club that hosts it. It's our 11th time, but we've had rallies in Arizona before that. Then we have, we have the Ambassador Academy we talked about. That's February 17th through the 21st. We'll also have, we talked about Blade Show. Got a couple of machine gun shoots coming up a little bit later in the year. I thought there was another big gun show that I guess I don't have there. Here we go. The National Wild Turkey is happening, and the Western Hunting Conservation Show. We talked about those. Those are both happening right now. Great American Outdoor Show just ended. An epic 9-day show. The Blade Show Texas is about to happen, and maybe I did have everything in there. So that's everything from gun calendars. Ag Risers joining us. Welcome. So we're having that competition for how many likes the Super Chats are getting, because nowadays you can thumb up Super Chats. So let's go back and take a quick look. Ron Wayne, six thumbs to a Super Chat. Pat in a Bunker, 5 thumbs to a Super Chat. And Misty, 7 thumbs. Very nice, very nice. So right now, Misty's in the lead. We'll take a quick look at the poll. How was this week for 2A? Great, good, okay, or bad? And we're kind of hanging around. Good has 38%. Great has 31%. Bad has 25%. okay is just at 6%. So definitely a weird distribution there. Kind of top heavy distribution, I guess, with, contrast. We got a lot of people saying it was a bad week, a lot of clobbering. Is it a bad week because nobody's working together and just stopping some of this stuff already? We're losing opportunity every moment that we don't normalize guns. The other side is going to be able to challenge the normalization of guns, whenever something happens. And I think 3 things happened recently. So, welcome to that cycle. So I guess I could see where people are saying bad week because of any of that. But the great week and the good week, I don't know. I'm interested to hear some of those reasons too. All right, so let's get into some of the military interviews. You're definitely winning. Let's see. So this one was crazy good. This is a 6-hour. It's 5 hour and 51 minutes. And this guy is Colonel John Alexander. He was a Green Beret, I think, and then worked at the CIA and then did all kinds of stuff. But 6 hours talking about all kinds of interesting stuff, essentially paranormal stuff that the government had been working with, experimenting with, and this guy was there for just about all of it. Really interesting conversation. It's like listening to Art Bell or something, except instead of listening to people who are theorizing about it, you're listening to the guy from the CIA who was either involved or running chunks of it. Just before Gizzards' show, Team House had this guy from the CIA. This guy, Jack Devine, is a pretty interesting dude. He had been part of the CIA for a long, long time. So I quit listening to it to do some other stuff and then whatever. So I'll have to listen to this one. But this one looked pretty interesting. Everybody was digging it. There was some other stuff. There was a follow-up with both the mic drop and with Combat Story. Problem is, I listen to those, watch them, whatever, on the other computer, so they don't show up in my history and I miss them. But Combat Story was an excellent one the last couple of weeks, and so was the mic drop. Mike Drop was talking to, was Mike Drop talking to the guy who was a dog handler? So that was super fun. And then, because he's, the dog handlers talking to each other are always fun. And then, I forget what Combat Story was now, but it was pretty good. So a good week for the military interviews for sure. Let's see. Then we had an interview with Matt. We brought Matt on to chat about his origin story and why he does what he does and how he does it. I'd definitely like to have Matt on again to talk about the hows, the technical ways he does it, the strategy and the techniques. He's definitely accomplished a bunch and he does it in interesting ways. We also had quite a bit to chat about since he's worked with the Air Force Auxiliary that I was in when I was a little kid. So it was a really fun conversation. I had no idea he was so involved, and he's done a lot. I knew he did some great work with IMDb, bringing people that are of value onto the IMDb platform, as everything that being on IMDb means. They're found easier on the internet. That gives them another level of credibility. Whenever they do more things, they can start to update their IMDb entry. So it's a great resource. Not everybody takes advantage of it, but it's a great resource, and these guys are offering it to anybody that's, to the people that are on their show. It essentially happens. It's pretty neat. We had some more Civivis show up. What? Yep. Civivis and scent cuts. So right over here, more knives. So I'm going to open these real quick. Got a scent cut and then a Civivi. And then another Senecut. Boom. So we've got this one here, a green one with a green anodized handle with a black blade. These are button locks, so they're super easy to close, quick to open, simple to close with either hand. Don't have to worry about cutting yourself or anything. When you close them, you just don't have anything in the way of the blade. Let it drop, let go of the button, and it stays locked. So that's the FinCEN Cut, which is a brand, and it is made out of, wow, this is D2? I didn't know that. That's a D2 blade, it says. I'm a big fan of D2. It's a hard steel it's a tool steel used for like cutting tools and things in factories. So it's brittle compared to some steels, but it's can be very, very sharp. And it's I can handle a brittle blade. And then this one is a Civivi. So the middle brand, I guess it goes FinCEN Cut, Civivi, and then something else. This one is a little bit bigger. This one is metal on metal, so aluminum with an aluminum or just a stainless blade. But this one has like sort of spear style blade. I don't know what to call it when it's got this kind of grind on the back, while this one is a nice flat grind. Both of them have a little bit of jimping on the back. This one's got your thumb studs. This one don't, and they're both button lock. A little bit less or more rusty with my left hand, I guess. But this one's got some finger grooves. This one don't. So I did a video when these things came out, and we are going to go over here and boom, end the poll first off. And good week for 2A wins. We're going to double check. Misty's at 7. Oh no, I clicked on it. Now it's 8. Pat is at 5. And Ron is at 6. And nobody could click on these, unfortunately. Wait, what did it let me do there? Buy a membership. Oh, okay. I thought it was letting me do something. Nobody else super chatted. So it looks like Misty. How do I? Oh, I'm like, how do I highlight this? I'll go over here. There we go. Misty, if you're still there, wins with the 7 thumbs on her super chat. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. And which of these knives do you want? You're going to win one of these knives right now. That's happening. So if I don't clunk them all up, I'll put them on the screen together. And we're doing the first super chat thumb up knife challenge giveaway winner. Boom, that's happening right now. So I have to also scroll down to see if anybody says anything. Boom. Yep. So, I have to go down again. Why doesn't this thing just show me the new comments right away? The silver one? Right on. That's the more expensive one, too, so it's a better one, probably. It doesn't say what kind of blade it is, but I'm sure you can ask Gizzard and he'll tell you. But there you go. That one will go out to Misty. Do I have your address already? You bought stuff before from the shop. Let me know. Or, don't put it in here, of course. But, yeah, thank you very much. So you'll get this Civivi button lock. What's this thing called? A Praxis silver aluminum handle. Satin finished Nitro V blade. You can lord this over whoever you want. Gizzard will be the only person on the planet that'll have more Civivis than you. But at least you'll get your Civivi. Right on. I think I have that right. So, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And that gave us a chance to try out the new super chat thing. And now I feel like hillbilly a little bit, giving away a knife. So that was fun. So then we'll move over. Now we don't have a poll going anymore. But thanks for that. And thanks for whoever figured out you can thumb up a super chat. That's pretty neat. I like to be able to have interactive stuff like that. Like say, it would be super cool if the channels could do it. Hopefully they'll add that to the channel thing because that is super neat. I'm sure people will, well, I hope people will play with that a little bit. It's fun when see people use the internet more interestingly. So that was the live unboxing though. So if anybody wants to see those knives even closer up, we went live on Amazon and had a little puppy there with us. Went live on Amazon and opened them all up in the mail the other day. We do coaching for people that are creating content, people that are hopefully getting the word out there. Normalizing guns isn't going to happen with one message. It isn't going to happen with a tremendous effort and then it's over. It's a way of being, right? It's just being able to be a normal gun owner and share that, right? It's being a normal gun owner and posting videos about it or blog posts or something. So, that's my goal, is to facilitate that, to see more of that, to, we all win when that happens consistently or continually or whatever the word is. So in order to, I guess I'm not screen sharing anymore. In order to facilitate that, we go live on Tuesdays and offer coaching or I guess they call it coaching still, but talking about content. So if we don't talk about it, nobody's just going to learn it. And you could go try to figure it out, but most of the time it doesn't apply to us for whatever reason or another. And again, if you're interested in being part of the whole thing, interacting with the internet and putting something out there, doesn't have to be fancy or big or consistent or often, but try it out. You might like it. A lot of people who have played with it a little bit, ended up liking it, and then they're there for a while. Guess what? They don't last forever. So if you think somebody's out there going to solve it all for us, that ain't going to happen. The biggest and best and whatever end at some point, and everything in between has the same fate. So the only way that we keep liberty and freedom and all the good stuff going is passing that baton. So if you're interested in being part of that baton holding part of it, to get with us on Tuesdays. We're going to be digging into some software and some apps and some techniques and things, getting ready to dig into the year. It's a good year. This is an election year. It's a good year to get going. There's going to be a lot of attention, a lot of opportunity, and lots of money. Whenever there's lots of money, there's a lot of stuff happening. That's it. That's the end of it. So with that, we're going to say thanks to everybody for joining us. Went a little bit long, but guess what? Gizzard corked us, so you can blame Gizzard. But again, thanks to people for super chatting, and thanks to Savivi for sending us the knife to send. It's not like I bought this knife. Savivi sent me this knife, so thank you to them for being able to empower us to pass it along. And if you don't know Misty, then check out some of the other shows that are out there. Misty's always what might I say, a supporter of people that are doing things out there. So much appreciated for the super chat. I'm glad to see you got a knife. Thanks to everybody else who super chatted though. I think there was 3 of them, right? Hillbilly became a member. Thank you for that. Also, thanks for helping us figure out that membership doesn't let you thumb that up. That would be neat too. But thanks to DJ and Woods, also channel members. But thanks to Ron for the super chat, and Pat and Misty. So with that, we'll throw one more commercial up here for our store, the Gear website store. And we'll say thanks to Foss for the commercial. And then hiccups. We'll probably, I don't know if I'll be back. No, I guess I'm not going to be back tomorrow. If I'm back tomorrow, it'll be at the rally. So Tony's at the Ambassador Academy anyway, and I'm at the rally. So probably no show tomorrow at the normal show. But maybe I can go live from the rally. We'll see how it goes. I'll bring the co-host, maybe. he's a good boy. But anyway, thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll be back at some point. Maybe Sunday? Wait, maybe Sunday? Not sure. Click on the right button here.
Captain, a vessel approaching.
On screen.
We're being hailed.
Every weekend over at gearwebsites.com, our online store, we have free Patch Friday. And that means that every order placed on our store on Fridays is going to include at least one free patch. So that's every order with no coupons, no minimum order, no codes needed. You place the order on Friday, and when it arrives to you, it's going to have at least one free patch. Your support means a lot to us, and financial support is critical. So thanks again to the people who keep us online through purchases at gearwebsites.com.
Hey Gizzard, did you see the part where Misty figured out that you could thumb up super chats, and then we said whoever gets the most thumbs up on a super chat wins a free knife, and then Misty won this free Civivi knife? I don't think Gizzard's seen that part because he didn't show up for all that part of it. But it turns out you can thumb up super chats, and people can accumulate thumbs ups on their super chats. If you want to check that out, incorporate it into a show.